How are we doing, everybody? Welcome back to the Sean Atwood channel. I'm Ron SWANSON. We're here with Randy Goodwin. I just want to apologize. In the title for tonight's show, I had Randy as a survivor. He is a representative and he works with survivors. There was just, it's my titles, you know how it goes. So I just wanted to apologize for that. But Randy, thank you so much for being here. You work every day with various amounts of survivors, and we're going to get into that. But introduce yourself and just let us know a little bit about yourself before we get started, if you can, bro.
Great. Well, I appreciate you having me on, Ron. That's very gracious of you. My name is Randy Goodwin. Like you said, I do help survivors each and every day. And, you know, I was born into a family. My dad, you know, didn't go to church, but my mom did. She took us to church. So, you know, I had a little bit of each going on.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so as I grew up, probably no different than anybody else. You know, you go off the deep end over here and over there, and experiment with this, experiment with that.
Yep, as you do.
Yeah, and most people, you know, are that way to some degree. And so for myself, as I went through all this, you know, there was always a place in me that was unsatisfied. Always a place in my soul, my heart, my mind, whatever you want to call that just wasn't clear, wasn't crystal clear. And so I fought all this, dealt with it for predominantly most of my life, up until about 9 years ago. And then I'm a born again believer. And so I just finally got to the point where I just cried out to the Lord, and I meant it. And this is what I want to emphasize. You got to be serious. So in my case, I was serious. And so I just cried out to the Lord. I go, Lord, whatever I have to do, if there's any iniquity in me, I want it removed. I'll do whatever I have to do to get it removed. And so I got up from that prayer and nothing changed. Everything's the same, right?
Right.
Okay. So now I had to do some things. I had to, you know, study, seek out people for help and all this. And I did. And it took me 2 years to get cleaned out.
Okay.
What I mean cleaned out is the entire brain, the entire soul, to have the iniquity get cleaned out and have your brain put back together and be one in Christ.
Okay.
Now, I just made a really great statement that really opened up a lot of things, but
I'm with you. I'm with
okay.
you. I feel like it's the classic, you have to be broken down to be rebuilt, but just repackaged in your own terminology. Yeah. I mean, in super layman's terms. I'm not trying to trivialize what you're saying, but I mean, that was the gist of it, right? So I go, yeah, you're nailing it.
Right. So, you know, I understand what it feels like, okay, to be down in the depths.
Right.
Okay. I get it. I know what that feels like. I know what it feels like to always kind of just be pushing and hoping and wanting and dreaming and never having that peace in your heart, your mind, your brain, your soul. I know what that feels like. I can empathize with people because it takes one to know that feeling. And it doesn't feel good to have that feeling. And so that's what drove me to want to get myself cleaned up. So that's kind of where, in a nutshell, was my particular journey and what motivated me to get to where I am today. And so after I went through that 2-year period of getting cleaned up, then the Lord just dumped in me. He says, now I want you to make people feel the way you feel right now. Cleaned up. Not perfect, because nobody's ever perfect. No one ever is. Okay. And so I said, okay. So then I just started learning and studying, and that's why I do what I do today. And so like I said, it takes one to know one. If you know how it feels, then on the other side, you know how that feels also. And it feels way better, just to be quite honest with you, Ron. Yeah.
Oh, no, I agree. I agree.
Yeah.
So after you effectively were rebuilt, okay, and stepped out this new you, I imagine you felt like it was a higher calling, and you wanted to help people feel how you felt.
Yeah, exactly.
What was it like when that enthusiasm, right, came head to head with a survivor of SRA for the first time? How did Randy Goodwin
deal with the whole thing?
How did Randy Goodwin and how was the pep in your step after that day?
Well, meeting with real survivors that are born into these families, generational families, not somebody that's just had one or two experiences through their life, but it's actually a generational bloodline.
Generational bloodline and generational normalization as well.
Yeah, it's normal. This is just what we do.
For these bloodlines and these families, how these kids and how these families are raised, the normality factor is terrifying.
It's terrifying. I don't like to talk about all the bad details of what they experience, what they go through, because we don't want to amplify all the bad stuff. However, what they do experience on a day-to-day basis, what they do have to go through, leaves scars that's unspeakable. It's unimaginable. It goes these scars and these most of the memories are actually not remembered. And I'll explain why they can't remember them. They can remember just little bits and pieces and fragments of things on occasion. Just on occasion, it'll pop up. But the experiences that they go through are, it's really, really bad. And the what they have experienced with these, rituals, ceremonies, vows and all this, in doing this, in going through these processes throughout their life, what it creates is a monarch mind control slave. And that basically means like a single ruling entity. Now, here's the thing. It's not their fault. They're a victim.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
They're a victim. And you know what? It's like you get a legitimate officer who, police officer. They actually want to help people. Okay. And they're called to a call, and they want to help somebody. So that's what they do. And they feel sorry for that victim. They can feel for them, right? So they go in and help them. And unless somebody goes to those places where these people have experienced all this trauma and all these mind-splitting events with the real formula, they're not going to ever be free.
All right, Randy, I want to dial in on a couple of things here with you.
Yes, sir.
So, we know when we talk about SRA in its grandest form, it is families, it is legacies, it does seem to exist across the masses.
It does.
And it means that we are stuck in a perpetual cycle of victim. Okay. Yeah. Even if victims only had that title for a certain part of their life, because we see in some cases where the survivors don't always come back good, if that makes sense, right?
You're correct.
And it's interesting when we start looking at these events as data points, and how every monster that is born from this, and it's not every survivor, I'm not pigeonholing every survivor, just so we know, started off as a victim in this, right? When we're talking about these bloodline families, and it's really so prevalent when when people bring in the, oh well, trauma breeds trauma, trauma breeds trauma. But when trauma is at the center of decades of abuse, right, and decades of this, how are we ever meant to deal with that level of normalization of this level of evil? Because it's so far beyond religion, it's so far beyond cult. It is, to be honest, I think the word is yet to has really to present itself to me, Randy, as to what it truly is. But it's not like someone wakes up on a Tuesday and goes, you know what? Legacy of SRA. That's what we're going to be one of them. I'm sure some of them try and get indoctrinated in, right? But there is a long legacy to all of this. Can you delve into your knowledge of the historical factor of this, Randy, if you can?
Yes, sir. Well, thank you. And so I believe in the Bible. I personally believe the Bible has all of the facts of what we're talking about today. And if we're talking about SRA, so that's basically, like a label, and the words that SRA stands for of what these people represent in today's world. Now, if we go back thousands of years ago, and we're going to go back to Genesis. Let's go back to the book of Genesis, the very first book of the Bible. And if you look up Genesis 1:16, it says God made two lights, one to rule by day and one to rule by night. Okay, that means the sun and the moon. Okay, God created the sun and the moon. Now we got the sun comes out during the day, moon comes out at night. I believe the enemy, when I say the enemy, okay, I'm talking about the devil, Satan,
evil incarnate, right? Because you know what's interesting, Randy, right? When we explain this, it's almost like modern society when we refer to it as Satan and the devil. I think the lack of religious practice, right, that's in the world has almost detached the seriousness of those words. Do you see? And because religion's getting pushed aside, they go, well, come on, Randy. It's fascinating as a crazy person observing this. Okay, because it's only starting to fall into place, Randy, very recently.
It's a great point, Ron.
I'm sorry for interrupting you.
No, you're not interrupting at all. That's a great point because, today, 2026, okay, this is 2026 years after Jesus.
Okay,
So there's a period of time. And then there's like 4,000 years before that, for, all humanity-ish, Today, this world, and I mean the whole globe is complacent with the things of the Lord. The whole mindset of humans in today's world, we're just complacent. And I think we take it for granted. I think we just take the Bible, the words that are in the Bible, just like, oh, it's just another book. Oh, it's just a fairy tale. Oh, it's just this. Oh, it's an opinion of another person, all this. But if you look at the whole creation, and we look at what the Bible says, Lucifer was in heaven. He got pride. Okay. And then he convinced a third of the angels to come with him. And then he got kicked out of heaven. And now he's down on earth, right? Okay. So he brings down from heaven all of this knowledge, all of this wisdom, this heavenly wisdom, Lucifer does, down to earth to mess up a human being. And why would he do that, right? So let's just think about that concept. Why would he want to mess up humans? Well, God created humans. And he told the angels, while Lucifer was in heaven, you're going to serve the humans. He made this announcement. You're going to serve all the humans. Well, Lucifer didn't appreciate that. Not serving any human being. You know, I'm the one that should be God. Blah, blah, blah. So then Lucifer gets kicked out. So now he wants to come down and corrupt and steal, kill, and destroy a human being because God loves you so much.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
That is that's the motivation of why the enemy does this. That is the motivation of creating a monarch mind control slave. That is the motivation right there.
When we talk about the corruption of human, right, we boil that down to innocence is the purest form of human corruption, right? If you can destroy innocence and corrupt innocence, that sits on the highest pedestal. I would imagine if we were to imagine ourselves as a grand evil overlord, right? Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So do you think, because I'll be honest with you, right? I feel like people would not notice a bunch of like random men going missing over a bunch of kids, right? So if it was just about bodies, right? If it was just about bodies, I think it would just be about bodies, right? I think people would just vanish from prisons, right? And that would be it. There would just be an endless cycle of it, right?
Yeah.
So it has, when we dial in on the child factor, right? And when we look at the bloodline families and this legacy abuse, it always has to start as early as possible, right?
Oh, that's a very correct statement.
The empathy has to go. The mind has to be fragmented. The normalization has to be ensued. How much reference was there to the destruction of positive deities, about people being abused by someone in costume, shall we say, as a positive influence or deity? Because I hear a lot about survivors who have talked about the image of Jesus being used as a form of abuse to them. Someone coming in and impersonating and fracturing. Because obviously, if your parents and your grandparents and your auntie are all doing this to you, like, where do you go from there, right? Does the only thing that's left for hope is then open, and I mean this respectfully, the supernatural, okay, and the religious and the spiritual. And when we take that and we destroy that, where the hell do you go? Do you see what I'm saying? And we're not, listen, I don't mean like your Auntie Sheila came round and she discovered Buddhism and made you think twice about Jesus. That's not what I mean. I mean, your parents, okay, have destroyed you. Your grandparents.
Everybody you trust. Everybody you trust.
Thank you. Everyone.
Yeah.
And then the most, and I speak this, I'm just assuming, one of the most well-known religious figures in the Western world is now also destroyed. Can we talk a little bit about just how prevalent that is, if you've experienced that, Randy, in your...
Yeah, the innocence at the very start. Oh, yeah, no, it's 100% in your entire family network is leading you down this path. So if you go back thousands of years ago, okay, and I'll just hit this really quickly. I won't go into it really depth. There's a magic book called the Book of Thoth. And you can find this diagram on Google if you want to.
Book of Thoth.
But in this magic book, there is a diagram, and this is the formula how to create a mind control slave.
It's insane that you've just brought. It's crazy that you've just brought this up.
This is the formula how to create a mind control slave from the enemy. Okay.
Okay.
So
Can I ask?
I'm not going to go into. I won't go into detail because this will take me quite a while to explain all this.
Do you see the symbol at the top, Randy? It's like the cross with the hoop in it. It's at the very, very top. That one there.
That's
correct. Do you know anything about that?
Yes.
Interesting. If you could, once you finish, and I'm so sorry for interrupting you. I'm so sorry.
No, you're fine.
I really am. But if you can continue with what you were saying and then circle back to that, that would be great.
So Ron, here is the concept of creating a monarch mind control slave. Okay. What the principal goal is what they want to do. They want to split the mind. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So just follow me really quickly here.
I'm with you.
Okay. So one part of the mind is going to be, and I'm just making gray statements here. Okay. One part of the mind is going to be a good guy. The other part is going to be a bad guy. Okay. And there is going to be a wedge, a spiritual wedge, not an actual piece of cardboard shoved in there, a spiritual wedge in between. Got a good guy over here, got a bad guy over here.
I know it well.
Okay. And neither one can see each other. Neither one knows the other one exists. Neither one knows what the other one does. Now, the good guy, and I just use those terms just for, blanket gray statements here. Okay. The good guy is going to come out during the day. And that's where Genesis 1:16 says, one rules by day and one rules by night. And this is where the enemy perverts scripture. The bad guy will come out at night. That's the moon. That's where the entity Astaroth will come out. The bad guy has the ability to astral travel, speak psionically, because it doesn't speak verbally. It will just give nods like this. It has all dark capabilities. This is where your animal altars come in from. This is where your shapeshifters come in from. This is where all this will come in from the guy on the other side or the girl on the other side. And with a man, we're on one side of the brain, and on the women, it's the other side. Because, women and men, they predominantly think differently on different sides of the brain.
I mean, thinking opposites is another way of putting that, Randy, 100% for sure.
Yeah. And so that is, putting it in a really quick nutshell, that is the goal. Because if you look up a scripture called James 1:8, it says a double-minded man is unstable in all his ways.
James
1:8. A double-minded man is unstable in all his ways.
Yeah, it's exactly what it is. This is turning out to be one of these bizarre conversations.
And don't let him think he'll get anything from the Lord. That's what that scripture says. So the enemy knows if he can make a human this way, then he knows he won't worship the true Lord God and Father. He'll worship this false Jesus that they have put into the deepest part of the soul, which will be the programmer or the father. He will be the God. He will be the false light, like what you're explaining earlier. And that image will be imprinted into that little baby, that innocent child.
Yeah.
And that, that really upsets me.
Oh,
Take the innocence. And I'm talking a 3-month-old.
bro, do you know, I was just about to clarify that, right? Because do you know this whole subject, right? I describe it as when you put your hand over a candle flame. Eventually, your brain pulls your hand away because it gets too hot.
Yeah,
This
right.
is the conversational version of that. So Ron never says this, okay? But I do need to just say to everyone, this is massively trigger warning for the next 30 seconds. So mute it and I'll wave when it's over. But when we hear the stories of when this stuff involves babies, right? We've seen a couple of major cases in the UK where people have went to prison sentences. One guy was unalived in prison very recently for his crimes. I think it's so far beyond the rational thought process of a normal person, right?
Correct.
So that when you hear the term, child ABUSE, right? Very rarely are we hearing the word baby, okay? And from the grand evilness, that's when they're starting this. It's not even 3 months though, is it really? It's seconds.
So I'd like to take that back even further, Ron, to before the child is even born.
Yeah.
Before the mother is even conceived. They give that womb.
Yeah.
They give that womb of the woman that they want to get pregnant with over to the god of this world. So that womb has been marked with the god of this world.
Randy, I did not expect this conversation to go this way. Okay, I just wanted to point this out right now. You're a very clever, very well-informed man. So let me ask you, let me just make sure you've said everything you want to say on that point, and I'm going to tweak us back around.
Yeah.
So yeah, if there's like, so you've fully clarified the point of just how young, just to reinforce that to everybody. Now, when it comes to their gods, right, the evildoers' gods, right, we don't need to go into names or anything specific.
Yeah, that doesn't matter. Those don't matter.
Now, have you seen anything starting to be mirrored, right, within Hollywood, the elites, music, anything like that lines up with this theory of a grander scale, global, ritualistic abuse ring? Because some people may believe, Randy, that free will, okay, is a bigger part of this universe than any of us will ever know. And simply by me informing you of something, you are giving over your free will, okay? Because you now know of it, okay? Right. So if I tell you my dastardly plan in a music video or a TV show, all the sucker you, right? Because now you know the plan and now your free will's done. Can we talk a little bit about your experiences, or if any, or the relevance of this? And again, with the Hollywood and the elite thing.
100%. Let's pull a Hollywood movie into this, right?
Okay.
Let's go back about 20. Let's go back about 25 years.
Okay.
Okay. I don't know when this movie first came out.
I'll tell you in a second.
Okay. But it's called The Matrix.
Okay. I got it.
All right.
It was definitely before 9/11, right? Matrix release.
It was right around there. Yeah, somewhere around.
Right. It was round about when we were all buying like emojis that were made out of forward slashes. 1999. Wouldn't you freaking realize?
Okay, perfect.
1999.
Perfect.
That's about that year, Randy. Carry on, mate.
27 years ago, then.
Yeah.
If I forgot my math right.
Yep,
okay.
Yep.
Okay. So check this out, Ron. Now this is cool. What I just described to you about the woman.
Yeah.
That the group, the network, they're going to get that woman and they're going to give that womb over to the god of this world.
Okay.
With their rituals and their vows. Okay. Now that woman has already been sealed. Okay. With this entity.
Okay.
Not even pregnant yet.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Okay.
I'm listening.
Okay. So the movie, The Matrix, it's all about, the coding and the information about changing your mind. What's real? What's not real?
Yep.
The fantasy world from the real world. What's real? So got to dive into the Matrix to see what's really going on.
Yep.
All right. So if you look up Exodus chapter 34,
Okay, I got X. So
I think it's verse 18. I can't tell you exactly the verse, but
hang on. Verse 18. Right, I'm with you. I'll tell you what verse 18 is. Hang on.
18 through 20. It talks about the matrix.
I swear to God, if you point me to a Bible verse that has the Matrix in it, I'm about to lose my freaking mind.
King James version. Look up the King.
Yeah, okay.
It says the word matrix. That word matrix, if you look it up in the ancient Hebrew, it means the womb of a woman.
Okay.
Okay. So we're talking about the genetic code right now.
I'm with you.
Okay. We're talking about the genetic code that's made up from that egg.
So literally exactly what you just said here. The biblical terminology of matrix refers to the womb. Just so you know, I'm just typing in everything that the internet will give me answers for that you're saying. I couldn't find the exact verse. So I've just typed in Exodus chapter 4, the word matrix, and it's pulled up exactly what you just said there.
Yeah. Okay. And so what it means by the genetic code. Okay, now I'm just kind of amplifying that whole scripture in Exodus 34. Now, Exodus 34, that was written thousands of years ago. That, so this information is not new. Nothing new here, okay? There's nothing new under the sun. So the genetic code of that womb and of the egg that's fixing to be fertilized is what this is all talking about. So that's what the movie The Matrix was all about, was capturing that womb. Because if we can capture the womb, now we've got the child before it's even born. We've already
It's very interesting when with the word womb, right? Again, stick it in a pasta pot, reduce it down to its most intense version, right?
Yeah.
It's a capsule for growth, right?
Yeah, exactly. And yeah,
which is basically like those big massive human battery banks that we've seen in the Matrix, right?
Exactly.
And it kind of I hate it when stuff gets biblically accurate. It really frustrates me. it really annoys me.
So Ron, here's a scientific fact you can find on Google. When an egg is first fertilized, okay, this will be the first egg, okay?
Yeah, okay. I'm joining in here.
The Bible says what God creates is perfect.
Okay.
So that egg is made by God. Okay, it's perfect. Now, after about I don't know how many hours. I'm going to say like about 30 hours or so. This egg splits off to a second cell.
Okay.
Okay, that second cell is what the enemy penetrates.
Okay.
Okay, and the reason he has the right to go into the second cell and not the first one is because God created this perfect thing. Now, the enemy will always come and try to pervert what God has created. Okay? I mean, just look at our planet Earth and our food and everything else, right? It's not as healthy as it used to be.
Do you remember the quote from the Bible about what God says about making us? Does the quote include the word earth? Are we his greatest achievement?
He said it's perfect. God created I need to find the actual quote. Carry on with what you were saying, right?
Right. This is one of those weird conversations. My producer Sarah, right, this whole year has been booking conversations that are tiny little pieces of puzzles, Randy, right, that are starting to come together. And
Genesis chapter 1 says, after he created, he said it was good. It was good. And Adam Adam and Eve, they had everything going on for them in the Garden of Eden.
I'm sorry, I heard a banger about Adam and Eve the other day, right? About how basically modern women, right, always want more. Okay, and this is just they always want more.
Oh.
And it's interesting that Eve was the same, right? Like, she had everything. She was in heaven. She was in a utopia. She just wanted a little bit more, bro. Just a little bit more. And again, ladies, I'm not saying this is all your fault. Okay, I'm not saying that at all. But the meme was just, it was a beautiful one. And the funny thing is the woman who was being told this, when she was asked for her reaction, she said, "Well, actually, I think I need a little bit more," just referring to the information. And it was 4 guys that were interviewing her, and they were like, "Yep, there's the problem right there." Yes, it was golden.
She got deceived. She was presented
or was she just a bit bored? Okay, the argument. Okay, right, the argument here, bro. And I'm just saying, right? Women rules are different than men rules. When we can all pretend like. Have you ever played pool with a woman? You know then what the woman rules are. Somebody was covering for her. Somebody probably in the Garden of Eden had the hots for Eve and just wrote history down a little different. No, okay, you were tricked by a snake. No problem. Okay, sure, Eve. Okay, carry on with.
Wow, where were we?
Yeah, right. Yeah, derailed us again. You were talking about the cell split. I think this was all leading on from the corruption before birth point, just in case anyone is wondering where we're going. And I'm actually quite horrified that you've managed to explain to me the free will loophole but when you're a cell, bro, like, it was bad enough when it was at birth, right? But now it's at cell 1. And it's
we're going back. Yeah, right.
So, but you know what? The Ron has been learning some things, okay? Because a lot of people that are here are big Jesus fans, okay? Jesus fans, I'm sorry. I don't mean to sound condescending when I talk about Jesus. And it's been a fascinating subject for me because a lot of people have been trying to save my soul, Randy, right? And it's interesting.
It's like this. See, if you're not going to find Jesus, and as a believer, we call it being born again. Okay, you're not going to find him.
It's not about that, Randy. It's not about being born again. It's about the cold hard facts, right? And it's interesting because I'm getting close to having a very interesting conversation about Jesus, about the world. I'm just not there yet, right? Yeah. And listen, Capricorn in the side saying, I respect Odin. Odin is one of my gods, and a one-eyed war god. But I mean, I often say, who would I leave my kids babysitting, right? I would trust my kids with Odin, but guaranteed someone's losing a finger. I'm going to come back and they're going to be skinning a boar in the garden, right? Nothing wrong with these skills. But it's interesting, my understanding of things. And again, we're not going to get into this now. But I just want to say to all the Jesus crew, I got some interesting information. I'm not none of that, but I've got some interesting things that I've discovered. And they're great. So, okay. So now that I've derailed this completely, and both Randy and I our point, I'm just going to circle us back. So, Randy, you work with SRA victims, right? And in this country, we've spoken to a sad, heartbreaking amount of survivors. We know that there's mind control. When we know that there's evil people on the grass level, the people that you and I rub shoulders with, Randy, the shop owners, that level, it exists. And then right the way up to the secret vampires that run the world, the bloodlines, the super rich, it exists there too.
It does.
And
they run the world.
But it's very disheartening. But the survivors of this, right, and the weaponization of DID, it seems, I think I had DID mislabeled as a weapon that they used against the survivors, I think it's a very essential tool of these monsters, right? I think it's because I seen it as a fail-safe. Because if you imagine, right, you've gone through this from birth till the age of 18 when you've managed to run away from your family.
Right.
10 years later, you've managed to deal with all of this and come and speak about it. But now you've got a freaking medical file that says 9 other people live in your brain who you have conversations with. Okay.
Or more.
You're done. Oh, yeah, that's on a good day. You're done,
Yeah.
right? You're done. So I used to think that was the reason for it. But the more I've learned about mind control, right, and trigger words and installations of personalities or personas, that's a better way of putting it. The installation of personas. How many like moments have you had where you know the level of darkness, okay, is a lot higher in some cases?
Oh, definitely.
Do you ever feel like you've faced somebody's altar that has been installed to make sure people like you are scared off or don't get a chance to do your job?
Oh yeah, 100%. You know, there's true bloods and there's blue bloods.
Oh, take us through that, please. I'm going to mute myself as well so I can shut up. So take us through those two if you can.
A true blood is somebody whose bloodline can be traced back to the Tower of Babel, to one of the 14 families that came from the Tower of Babel. Names change, you know, throughout time, marriages, divorces, and all this, but their blood never changes. It can be traced back to the Tower of Babel. That is a true blood. They are born with a Nephilim entity in them. Okay? That is a true blood. A true blood, these families, it's a generational thing. All goes all the way back. It's just what they do all the time, every generation. It's just a normal way of life. A blue blood is somebody who has to go through the rituals and the vows to become a true blood. That takes 10 generations to accomplish that. So
10 generations. That's
10 generations.
Is that 400 or 250 years?
It's a lot of years.
It's a lot of years, right?
Yeah.
Like a generation does have a set amount of time on it, right? I think a lot of people see it as someone's life. Like one generation is your grand's whole life. But apparently that's not it. So is it in this respect, is it one generation is you and all your kids die and it's their kids that are the next generation? Or is it when you die, your kids are the next generation?
Your kids are the next generation.
Your kids are the next. Okay.
Yeah.
So
grandpa, you know.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's full lifetime stuff. It's full life.
His grandson, you know, there's 4 generations.
So then that could be 700-800 really then, if we're going 70, 80 years. Oh, that's wild.
So, okay. So these, you can be, you know, you could be a true blood. You could be born into these families and have all this stuff and go through all these ceremonies. And, you know, the ultimate goal is to make an individual, a human being, not be able to see what's inside of them, you know, by splitting the hemispheres of the mind.
Interesting. You used that phrasing. Carry on.
You can't fix something you can't see, right?
Agreed.
Okay, so if you were to try to fix something, anything, a table or something, but you can't see it, how are you going to fix it if you don't know it's there?
Yeah, and even if you can see it, if I've told you your whole life that the grass is blue, right, when actually it's green,
yeah, there you go.
It doesn't mean that it's not green. It's just you think it's blue.
You think it's blue, correct?
You can't take it away. I can just convince you it's not what you're seeing.
Exactly.
Jesus, this is wild.
See, now that is the deception. You see, and remember at very first of our conversation, I said the enemy's goal is to split the hemispheres, right?
Division.
Split the division of the left and right hemisphere. And I'm not talking about an alternate personality. I'm talking about two real people.
Oh, I know.
Not a DID.
No, oh no. It's, well, here's the thing. Like we let me romanticize your point for a minute, Randy, right?
Sure. Yeah.
If we go back to the stories of the indigenous tribes, you'll hear of the stories of the two wolves or the two bears. Okay.
Yeah.
And one bear is made up of all the good things that you are, Randy. The kindness, the love, the empathy, all of that. And on the other side is all the bad things that make up human beings. Okay. The jealousy, the rage, all of that. But we still live on a scale of good and bad. That's nature. The wolf eats the stag, bad for the stag, good for the wolf, the balance, right? And they say, well, which one wins? And then the wise old dude will say, whichever one you feed, right, is the one that will win. And it's a misconception, Randy.
Mm-hmm.
Because what happens when you know you are something and then you deny it? It becomes hungry, it becomes desperate, and it acts like a starving animal that you've cornered. And that's when indecision, irrational thought process, that's when a normal guy has a freaking breakdown and has like a falling down day with Michael Douglas, right? And has just had enough, okay? That's when it happens. It's finding the balance to feed the two, right? And when people often say, well, how can you feed and promote the things that are bad about you? That's not for me to figure out. That's for you to figure out. Because bad and good have to exist. Evil does not exist in nature. Evil is the manifestation of the act of man. That is where evil exists. If I'm the most loving person and you're the most evil, Randy, and you and I sit still in a room and say nothing till the day we die, nothing changes. It's only our actions that have the effect. And evil has no damn place. There's no part of the yin yang, right? The balance that has a good and bad, and then a weird bit in the middle that's just a bunch of evil. It doesn't work like that. Evil is the manifestation of man. It doesn't exist in nature. And I've forgotten where I was going with this, but
we were talking about the hemispheres being
the two people. That was it. It's the two sides. And it's fascinating that you keep bringing up these two sides, because look at the world. And this is going to sound so corny. Look at how you've spoken. And look at how the world speaks about politics, global division. It's two sides. It's left. It's right. And when we talk about the free will and the context and the normalizing and the brainwashing of us all, we are then conditioned to go, well, we have to pick a side. We have to be either left or right. And it just facilitates exactly what you're talking about. I need to stop interrupting you. I'm so sorry.
No, that's fine. So the process, the end goal, okay, to heal a survivor, which is 100% possible, happens, I see it all the time, 100% possible, is to get all this stuff cleaned out, okay? Because there's things that's built in the soul. There's things that are installed in the different layers of the mind. I mean, that stuff has to get pulled out. And the end goal is to bring the mind back together and make it one. So you are one. So you're not double-minded. You're not split-brained. You're united within your own self, the way you're supposed to be.
And you know what's interesting, right? Because everything you're saying there is true, but it's not bringing the two together. Because when we talk about DID, 100 million%, I'm on board with you. But when we're talking about the two bears, that's what got separated, I think. I think that bringing those two halves is like putting two halves of a circle back together again. Does that make sense? Like two halves of the yin yang coming together. Mm-hmm. Those things I believe are meant to be. None of the DID is meant to be there. This is not included in this analogy. But it's interesting how you word things, Randy. And, oh God, I've got a live stream later on tonight, Randy.
So,
I'm
okay, so
going to be talking about this because
okay, great. So what I'm presenting is this, Ron. The enemy comes and separates these two, because you're not necessarily born with that separation, but the enemy will separate this too. Okay. Now, if you look up Psalm 147, verse 3.
Hang on. Psalm verse 137. 147.
Verse 3.
All right.
Okay. That scripture, basically, I'll paraphrase it and I'll kind of open up. It says, he came to heal the brokenhearted and bind up their wounds.
Yep.
That's
exactly what it says.
Okay. So if you research that scripture, that word brokenhearted means your soul.
Yep. I can get that. Yeah, I can agree with that.
Your mind, your brain.
Yep.
Whatever word you want to describe that as.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I mean, it's, and we're, do you know what? Do you know what's really good about this? I'm not even looking at this as Bible things. I'm looking at this as historical conversation, right?
Yeah,
so,
right.
A broken heart is very metaphorical. Do you know what I'm saying?
It is.
Do you see what I'm saying? So
yeah,
I'm just doing that thing where I take 7 minutes to basically agree with what you're saying and bring nothing to the conversation, Randy. So just please continue.
Okay. Oh, that was funny. That was funny. Where's the drum roll? We need one, right?
No, like this is one of those weird, when you, like, everyone will understand later on when all of this is processed, and then I regurgitate it all.
So okay, so that Psalm 147 verse 3, I believe Jesus is the fulfillment of that scripture, because he came to heal our minds, every aspect of our brain, our soul. So when the enemy comes and dices and slices and does all this stuff to your brain and your soul, it can be 100% put back together and be united. That's what I'm convinced of, what the Lord can do. And I see it all the time. Now, other people might have different, takes on that, or, possibilities. And you're right. I'm not talking about DID or an alternate personality. And by the way, alternate personalities, it's a God-given attribute. It's not demonic.
Do you know what's interesting, right? Let's just for a second forget we're on the internet, right?
Okay, all right.
Let's look at what you've just said.
Yes, sir.
Look at DID. Let's look at the two splits, right? So we've got, and again, I keep saying the yin and yang because it's just a good visual, right?
That's a very accurate description, by the way.
Let's say that depicts normal, right? How we should be, right? And then there's the split, okay? If we have now got the separation of everything that is innocent and everything that is definitely not innocent in a person, and then I'm able to I'm part of the people that can then download and install my intention within the DID range.
Mm-hmm.
And all I've got to deal with is the nasty side of a person. Like, that's the easiest way I could ever think of all of this happening with the programming, right? So they split this person, then they've got the innocence is trapped. That's there for we all know what for, because the innocent side is hardly going to be sitting down with these pre-installed personalities and being like, sound super glad you're here. The evil side, the nasty side of man, right? 100%, because ego and all the narcissistic crap is only going to be thinking about its own preservation, even at the detriment of its other half.
Yeah, it's gonna fight. Yeah.
Well, think about how many people we've seen destroy everything in the name of their own self-righteousness.
Right.
We see it all the time. And it might not be glamorous, it might not make the news, but we witness it. So we know that that's something that happens.
Yeah.
And if we are evil bloodline monster elites with things that you and I have no comprehension of, with regards to technology, rituals, all of this, it's not out of the ring to think that exactly what you said, the splitting, the separation of rational to irrational, is freaking fascinating, Randy.
So when I talk about, the split, now we got we got a good guy and a bad guy. And I said, we want to bring them together.
Yeah.
But first, here's what first has to happen. See, the good guy might go to church. They might have a relationship with the Lord.
Yeah.
Okay. They might a good person. They might be a good family individual. Be just a good person. The other side, not so much. So the goal is to bring that other side to the Lord. And then once we clean that side up, okay, take the stuff out.
Oh yeah, I'm with you. You.
Now they can't see it with this stuff still in there. Okay. It's not possible. It's just not possible. Okay. When I talk to that side of an individual, trust me, I've been told to go in many places.
Well, here's the thing though, right?
I'm sorry.
Here's the thing. It's interesting, right? Because how many actions from that side of the brain did you see? Because I imagine you heard a lot of horrible stuff being said to you, right? Was there a lot of lashing out or physically acting, or was it primarily verbal harassment that you would receive from that side?
It's verbal usually, but and unless which I do every time before I meet somebody, I will pray and put the blood of Jesus over me. I call it the network, because they're connected to a network of individuals, mentally, psionically, spiritually, and there's entities attached to their network. They will come and try to attack me.
Yep. It's interesting though, right?
Yeah.
When we bring free will back into this, okay?
100%.
Because there's a big difference between saying nasty things and say, I don't know, putting a bunch of holes with a pair of scissors in someone you're sat over from a desk from, right? There's a big difference.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Do you think that when we're looking at the pre-installation of evil, not the discussion
from the womb,
not necessarily the discussion. No, see, the good and the bad, I think this is where our theories are going to butt heads a tiny bit. Okay. I don't think we're going to disagree. I think the road to the same outcome just has a different story on it, if that makes sense. Because I think the good and the bad have to exist for the balance in a person. And I think what you think is the bad is pre-installed evil that resides in someone. That has to come out.
No, you're absolutely correct in a way, because that's called the seed of sin.
That's what we'll call it. That's what we'll call it.
The seed of sin came in from Adam and Eve.
And you know what? Arguably, I will agree, we could all have that seed.
We do.
But it's the germination of a seed that makes it anything, right?
Everybody has the seed of sin. Every human living being has the seed of sin. And what is the seed of sin? Well, a lot of modern Christians will say that is the sin nature. Okay, well, what's the sin nature?
See, again, right? But the thing is, right, I think where you think a sin lies and where I think a sin lies, there might be a bit of a big gap, right? So when I talk about sin, I am really discussing evil, okay? Like good people can have bad days. Good people can have bad days. We've all heard that experience, right? We've all heard that saying, right? Where am I going with this? How am I trying to explain this, Randy? Because
everybody has a capability of sinning, and everybody sins every day.
That was the word. Yeah, it was the sin word, right?
Everybody, anything. Okay, it's like this. Ron, anybody at any given point of the day,
Mhm.
okay, any thought that
Yeah.
you have, any word that comes out of your mouth, any action that your body does that exalts itself above the knowledge of Christ, that's sin.
No, I'm with you, right? So for me, I get you have to play by those rules, okay? And I respect those rules, and that's okay. Those aren't the rules for me, right?
Okay.
And I know in your eyes, you're like, well, there's one set of rules, and I respect that too, Randy. Okay, all the Jesus people, I respect that. Let's just for 1 second, they're on. Okay, don't try saving my soul. We're okay.
Yeah, no.
So here's the thing, right? So sin, I think a lot of sins, right? It's just good and bad, right? A lot of sins technically aren't pure evil, okay? Like being a greedy bastard, right? I mean, it's not good for you, but is it really evil? Do you see what I'm saying? Sure, when we talk about BlackRock, yeah, I get it. Scale it up. I get it, right? What's interesting, right, is if we remove...
You get, like, so you're saying there's a small sin and there's a big sin, or...
Right. Well, here's the thing. I'm not saying the sins apply to me because I don't follow the path.
Right.
With
no, I understand. We're just
that doesn't mean that I'm just out there doing a madness. Okay, I understand the right and wrong, right? So it's interesting. So if we remove the sin from it, and we just, in my brain, it's good and bad, but there's the seed, right? This is where the happened for me tonight, Randy, right? Is the seed that you talk about at the split of the atom, okay? The centuries that it must have taken to refine the way to mass inform and trick a planet, okay? We could think back 5,000 years when you've got people shouting from like the pyramids, right? They had more knowledge and more control. There was more direct communication with the overlords then because they never had the internet. So they had to come out and shout at people, right?
Yeah.
Whereas now information travels fast. And I think pre-installation of that seed is an incredibly interesting part of this. Because
I agree with you.
Evil manifest from nowhere. Okay? There are people that wake up in their days, they have no trauma, they've had normal lives, and they do diabolical things, and no one can explain why. And I don't mean the good and the bad. I mean the possibility of this seed.
You see, Ron, I believe today, 2026, it's not just these small group of families that you just hear about. That's just, it's just those isolated incidences of individuals that are born into the families. I believe personally that it's much more prevalent than that today. I believe almost the opposite. It's hard to find somebody now who's not that way.
Bro, do you know what's crazy? Right?
I mean, I don't care what you call yourself.
Well, do you know what we need to ask ourselves, Randy? There are so many things that the bloodlines, but when I say the bloodlines, I'm talking about the big bad boy evil doers of the control the world, right?
Right.
We have to ask ourselves, why would it be in their best interest to share that evil knowledge and have the peasant folk try and emulate what they're doing? So we have to then ask ourselves, does the sheer amount of people that they can spread doing their form of worship or to their particular deity, could that be why this is so prevalent? Because we're seeing the bloodlines trying to spread their particular type of evil against each other in some way. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, there's a constant competition. It's this pecking order that they're always fighting to, gain power, financial authority and all this above the next guy.
But it seems unified though, right? It's BlackRock, it's this, it's that. It's one company that seems to own everything, right? Do you think there's more split within these hierarchies than we know of? There's divide between themselves. Sorry, that's what I meant.
Yeah, there's a lot of people involved with these companies. It's not just like one guy owns it, but there are individuals on this earth that have an extreme amount of wealth. extreme. Probably you don't even know who they are, and those people run everything, and it just trickles down, like you're explaining. It just trickles down, and you're right. And that common goal to glorify oneself over whatever you want to call it, greed, you want to call it power, fame, fortune, anything that self can chase. They want you to do that.
Yeah. Do you know, David just made a point here. The love of money is the root of all evil. Do you know, it's interesting, right? Because I've been wondering about that exact statement, David. It's been pondering in my brain about money. And I don't think it's the root of all evil. I think it's the great equalizer, but the most number one tool for corruption.
Well, he's actually 100%. I agree with David on that statement. Sure. It's not money that is evil.
The love of it.
Because everybody has to pay their electric bill. Everybody's got to pay their mortgage, their rent. Okay, we all have. That takes money. But it's when you love it,
right?
It's never enough. The car that works, that's sitting in your driveway is not good enough. You want a better one. You want nicer clothes. All this.
Do you know? I think our analogy is too underrated. I agree with everything you're saying, but it's so simplistic, right? The car reference, the clothes reference, because we're just normal guys, Randy. Okay, yeah. That's what we think about. No. But it's not that. It's not. I mean, that is hardwired into these people. Yeah. Here's an interesting one for you, Randy. The amount of people with money and power that get sucked in to occultishness on the good side and on the bad side. Do you think that the essence of the unknown is the facilitator for this infatuation? It's the occult, it's the secrets, the lost knowledge. And do you think that some people are sucked in under the this is an evil, and there's a process into turning those with empathy into those without?
Let me give you an example, a real life example.
Okay.
Individuals I work with, and this isn't just a one-time scenario. This is many people. Okay, we're talking about wealth. Who would you say, that we all know has the most wealth? Well, there's one individual that immediately comes to everybody's mind. Okay, and isn't it interesting that one individual has the latest brain implant technology? He's invented, chips that go into your brain, and all this. So working with survivors, really interesting that these people have the essence of, who I'm talking about, You're talking
about Elon, right?
Yeah, talking about Elon Musk.
You know what no one talks about, though, right, is he's moved on from chip in the brain.
Okay, well,
it's not. Now listen, I'm not on either side. I'm just a nerd. Okay, so now it's like a chip in a gum shield, right? And you're like putting the gum shield in. But listen, here's the thing. Right?
The gum,
like a gum shield, like a boxing gum shield.
Oh, right? Okay.
So the chip now lies within that, and it goes in, and then there's an external, like the magnetic little boink things that go on when, I don't know, in hospitals, you see the thing stuck on people's heads.
Yeah, right.
One of those is clipped on. So I'm wondering if he's clocked on to everyone's fear of this, right? And also, do you think that if you can't afford the high-end version, the lower-end version will play adverts?
Well, I do know that he is connected to the network, and he's connected to these individuals.
Okay.
The essence of him is in them.
Do you know what's weird? The Epstein files had some weird stuff about essences and DNA, and we're not going to talk specifically, but a germy period of time where a bunch of people took some jags. And it's weird, the obsession, because I often wonder, what does the billionaire psychopath want for Christmas, Randy? Like, what do you get Epstein for Christmas? What does Epstein daydream about? He's not daydreaming about an island and baby jerky. That's his day job. And I often wonder what these psychopaths' dreams are, right? And if you're Jeffrey Epstein and you're dealing with the bloodlines, and they tell you you will never be us, you will never be us, and you figure out how to get your essence into something the whole world's going to be getting shim-shammed into themselves, and you're obsessed with time travel, right? And you manage to just jolt yourself forward 50 years and then get a whole bunch of people's blood tested, and it finds out that you have the most prominent bloodline in the world now because you're a mental case on an island. All right? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, the soul is never satisfied, ever satisfied. It always wants more, always wants more. It's never has that peace, like the Bible describes, Bible talks about. It always wants like money we're talking about. You always want more. You want to buy this, you want to buy that. And like with Epstein, you said like his day job, always wants another, wants another.
Yeah.
Well, his nighttime job was probably all about he would go places and do things, psionically, and all these types of issues, in his dreams, in all this. And he was taken out. They just made him disappear. Of course, we all know that. That's no secret. But
who are we talking about? Who did they make disappear?
Epstein.
Oh yeah, okay. I thought you meant Elon for a second there. I was like,
No,
wait a minute, bro.
No,
All right, yeah. Okay, well, here's the thing. Did they? I know they definitely made us think that they did, right? Dude, I've spoken to some guys, right, who are like former FBI, former CIA. They hunted like human transportation people. Like they've got credentials, right? And they're like,
he's still alive somewhere on a secret plane.
No, there's a photograph, right, that was taken with a drone on Epstein Island, and it was weeks after his death, and it was on part of the island where if you just so happened to be on the island, this is where you'd want to be. It's not a very highly used place. And there's a photo, bro, of what looks like Jeffrey Epstein as if he's driving a golf buggy, stopped, swiveled in his seat, and is leaning out talking to someone, and then he looks up at the drone. And it's Epstein. It's Epstein, right? So,
well, I'm not saying it. No,
I'm not saying you are. I'm not saying you are.
Yeah,
but
you're right.
What you're saying is true. What you're saying is true. They did officially unalive him. That's what you're not wrong.
Yeah, he's been removed off of the registry, the human network,
right?
For whatever they put him on somewhere.
They stuck somewhere, bro. They done, well, insert your ending for sentence here, but
yeah, he's with Saddam Hussein and Michael Jackson. Maybe they're all at the same place. I don't know.
Tupac and Diana for some reason, but it's true, right? Because have you noticed in these big PDF cases, right? Mark Dutroux, Jeffrey Epstein, Diddy, okay, very all recent, right? It's okay. It's okay if they're perverts, so that's fine. But the minute you bring in a network, criminal organization, RICO, or anything grander than Europe, they're a pervert. The whole case, there's no talk of it. The judges don't seem to want to even bring it into the trial. How prevalent do you feel the global cover-up of SRA and all of these monsters is?
100%, because they're all monarchs.
Let's go into that. Let's go into the monarch. Let's go into the mind control.
They're all monarchs, because, like I said, there's more, in my opinion, there's more people that are today than aren't. And what you can't see, you're not aware of. And all these people that you're mentioning, you're just mentioning these famous, famous people that, you hear about on the news and social media and all that. And that's all true with them. And that's why they do all these acts and do all this thing. They have this life over here, and then there's life over here. And there's even some preachers, famous preachers, that had that same lifestyle. By day they were a famous internet TV preacher. By night, I flip the page and something completely different.
Let me ask you a couple of things.
Jimmy Swiggart's one of them.
The monarchs, right? People have heard the term used to describe the survivors of MK Ultra, the Monarch program, and things like this. Monarch butterflies as symbols. How much have you heard about this, like in your work?
I work with people all the time, MK Ultra people, and MK Ultra, the butterfly. It has basically why they correlate the butterfly to a monarch is the number 4. The number 4 means because it's got the 4 separate parts of the wings. So when they split the mind, they'll split it into 2 parts. You know, like I said, the left and the right, but then it gets split again. Now we got 4. And that's where the monarch principle comes from.
So here's an interesting one. So if let's say the maximum of splitting is this into 4 sections, then arguably one of those sections they will ram full of other personalities, right? There'll be
that's the minimum. That's the minimum.
Yes. No. So what I'm saying is the splits that take place, the 1 into 2 and the 2 into 4. Okay.
Right.
Can we then assume that all of the other personalities, let's say somebody 30 DID personalities, are they going to be located in one of these quarters? Okay. And the reason I say that is it further complete separation from 1 to 2 to 4 to 8 to 16 to 32, or is it to 4? And then we're finding that one section is vulnerable to the installations.
What it's like is imagine a kaleidoscope. Okay. You ever got when you're a kid?
Bro, I'm a big listen as an adult. Okay, not when I'm a kid, but I'm an I am, yes, very aware.
Okay, so this kaleidoscope is what it creates is a witch's web or a double helix system within the brain, within the soul. So when you turn that kaleidoscope, you know how the colors just kind of just change like this. We got this clockwork. When I talked about 1 rules by day and 1 rules by night, remember me talking to you about the very beginning?
Oh yeah, sorry, you're blowing my mind again. That was just carrying with what you were saying.
We've got this very integrated, sophisticated mechanical network in the mind. So 1 rules by day and 1 rules by night, and then as it shifts like that, the cogs of the wheels change like this. With every shift, that kaleidoscope changes, and we got a different.
And is the correlation of the kaleidoscope and that fragmentation, are they associated with recall and association? So is that key that is effectively that still image of the kaleidoscope? Does it activate part of the brain? Or can it be used to activate part of these cells?
Yes and no. What I mean by we bring it all the way down, okay, into blue collar terms. There's so many personalities that are created.
Okay, with you.
Okay, that when you turn that kaleidoscope, the cogs of the wheel turn.
Yep.
Personalities just are like this.
Okay, so what you're saying is the kaleidoscope is the creation of the personalities. As it's turning, it's spewing them out effectively.
Right, and
that's fine. That's fine.
Right, correct. And it's not like you can just start chasing personalities because you'll never get the person free, ever. No, not going to happen because there's an unlimited amount of personalities, and there's also a replication. There's a replication system built in, a duplication system built in, that if you take that out, it reproduces.
Let's talk about DNA for a second here, Randy. Do you think that DNA, how am I going to word this? Do you think DNA, right,
Probably
has... Well, here's the thing, right? I often wonder why Google owns this 23andMe company, right? It's like this huge you know, spit in a tube, send it back to us, and we'll tell you the history of your existence place,
Yeah.
right? Like, why does Google want all our DNA? Because a guy swabbed the inside of his lizard's mouth and sent that off, and it came back with a generic human breakdown of human DNA, right? So we have evidence to support they're kind of talking nonsense, Randy, right? Do you think that there could be an element of this where the essence of a person
yes.
can
What you're alluding to is yes.
Okay.
And if you
I don't know the process of it or the words to use, but
give me 1 minute and I'll explain to you.
Please do.
Okay, so DNA and RNA is the structure of that egg, okay, that's created within that womb, right? And that's what creates that human.
Yep.
Okay. Have you ever seen a dog with different colored eyes? Of course you have.
Yep.
Okay, that means that dog has a different DNA than its original father. It has DNA also contributed to it. So within humans, here's what they do. In a true SRA family, they will get, when they want to get that woman to be pregnant, they will have more than one male contribute inside the woman.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Okay. But not only that, we're not going to stop with more than one male contributor, because the womb of a woman, the whole canal, is
Are these specifically non-relatives, these men?
It doesn't matter who they are.
So it doesn't matter who they are. That's fine.
Yeah. The canal of a woman is going to absorb everything that's placed in it.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. No. It was more for. I don't even know why I'm asking you that, Randy.
So what they're going to do is get a dish.
Oh, lovely. Okay, that's enough. I'm with you. Okay, Randy. When Randy wishes out the dish motion, you know he's like, "Pay attention, Ron." I'm with you. No, I'm with you. I'm with you.
Okay, and they're going to have within this dish, a mixture, of different men, animals,
oh wow,
reptiles, you name it, right? They're going to take the DNA and put it and mix it all up, and they're going to get 3 rings, usually like of a skin, like of a snake skin type. And they're going to have these rings made up of all of this DNA, and they're going to insert it. And that, by the way, that's where it's that one movie, The 3 Rings of the Lord of the Rings. The Lord of the Rings. That's where that movie came from. They're going to insert those 3 rings, and that means the unholy trinity, into that woman. And now that woman's going to absorb all of that DNA of that mixture. And it's going to go into that fertilized egg after that splits off to that second cell. Now that infant is going to be born with the essence and the DNA of all these contributors. And this is where you get your reptilians.
And that is the very basis of what you started off saying, right? Which is the destruction of the image of in the biblical terms of God and Jesus, right?
Right, correct.
Because I'm telling you now, the bowl, that vivid, Randy, vivid. Okay.
Yeah, I know that's very.
No. I'm not done. All right, but the animals and the lizards and all of that is wild, and it makes, and again, horrible. Just so we all know, but it makes so much freaking sense, Randy.
Now let me give you just like a normal Joe Blow analogy. Let's say
Petri dish of evil. Nailed it. 10 out of 10 for Mike. You get the gold star.
Let's say just a guy's going out with this girl. They engage, in intimacy.
Shenanigans. Yep.
Okay, and now she gets pregnant.
I know this story all too well, Randy.
During her pregnancy, she also dates another man or two and has intimacy
Don't know this one.
with them.
Yeah.
Okay, well, the DNA from those other men are now going to go into that fetus, that fertilized egg that she's carrying. And he's going to, that newborn child now has the essence of more than one father.
Luckily, not been through that, Randy. I'm just a very fertile man. But
so
it does make sense.
It's common. See, in creating this monarch mind control slave, you can see how today's world we live in is just so messed up. And create people that are just,
Do you know what's crazy, right? Is the term mind control. I think we might need to find a new one, because I think so many people instantly go to like Clockwork Orange, right? With this, right? And the government, and like, well, I would know if my sister had been taken and hooked up to this stuff.
Right.
It's really, there is like a wish.com grassroots version of this, right? That takes no technology. Okay.
Right. Yeah, you're right. We want to revert back to MK Ultra when they put a cap on you,
right?
Hooked you up to the lights and the
right.
We want to think about that, which is all true. That's all true.
Do you know there's a new like mask that they're marketing people that has the white light flashing at different times, and people are now like using this to what's the word I'm looking for? When you leave your body and just go mulling about, when you outer body experiences and remote view, like doing all of that stuff, right? And it's been popping up on my YouTube ads, Randy, and I'm just thinking to myself, that's really cool, until the overlords type the code in, right? That turns it from like a white pleasant experience into some freaky madness, and then we all start doing do you know what I'm saying? Because here's the thing.
Well, that technology, what you're describing, it can trigger that dark child.
Well, that's it.
To come up.
Have you ever like heard a really good tuning fork, Randy? Right? Like, have you ever experienced and you know what I'm talking about, Randy? Like you're sitting there, and then some mad woman or a man, usually a lot of hemp involved in their clothing, right? Will like twat this fork. And Randy, like I've experimented with things, okay, in my life. Like I've experienced sensations, okay. And I experienced many things like a tuning fork. And the energy, right, that these forks and these things that resonate, right? It was all very positive. It was all very good. I felt amazing. But that there's the other end of the coin, right? The other side of the coin, right? Which is going to be like the evil tuning forks. I don't know what they are. They're not as mainstream, right? But because this is what I do, Randy. I study the way that the evil occult users harness and how they use energy against us and how they get us to give it up. And then I duplicate it and use it against them. That's the mission I'm on right now. And it's working. It's working on a tiny scale, okay? Tiny scale. It's really working. And I want to know if you've had any experiences with evil frequency or heard of evil frequency.
There's a lot of people that will get cued by a frequency. Okay. And I want to say cued, not triggered. Cued. What I mean by cued, it's intentionally entered in there to bring up this personality, so they can go do a job, or do what they got to do.
And isn't it much more clever to come up with a frequency in 2026 than a trigger word, for example, like this orgasm is lasting too long, something that no one would ever say, that would never be said,
right?
Because I imagine they've run out of words. Okay, I imagine the walruses that pick the little balls out of the big elite that make the names up have ran out of stuff. But it makes more sense, because Randy, if I have to tell you what those words are, and then 20 years later you die, and I need to tell someone else what those words are, and then maybe they get a change of heart and whistle blow, and then they get fired and then they get killed. We have to get someone else. But if it's just a button, if it's just something I hand to you and say, okay, handler, when we tell you to push, and it's going to be a Simon Says machine for this example.
Right.
When you get told to go beep, 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 then it's going to activate your guy. The frequencies
that's
are
correct.
a much more secure criminal way of doing things.
Yeah, because like I said, language changes, words, all that. We use words, and there's been some cued words that have been thrown around over the last 5-10 years that everybody knows now.
And do you know what?
Secrets.
That what is a frequency got over and above words? You have to hear words. Yeah. A frequency can just come in out of nowhere. You don't even have to pick up on it, Randy.
Yeah, it can.
It's so scary. It's so scary, right? Like it's more comforting to think evil man, like the guy that smokes 90 Marlboros in the X-Files, phoning you up and going, tomato sandwiches on a Tuesday, and then you're activated.
Yeah.
But for some reason, Randy, can you think of any devices that might be in everyone's hand that might be able to distribute a frequency?
That's right.
Do you see what I'm saying?
And the 5G, all this network, and now they're coming out with a 6G.
Listen, I'll be honest with you.
All this technology, the technology gets more advanced, it gets more precise, but the formula is the same.
Only the technology for controlling us. Ain't no cancer cures. Everyone's still got AIDS and cancer, right? So we know where the attention's going, Randy. Do you see what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, that's money.
Do you know what? They cured polio and went, that was a terrible choice. That was a terrible business decision.
Yeah, exactly. There it is.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and they've got these cures, but it is an extreme amount of money that's to be made on them.
Oh God! Well, again, we've got to put on our evil overlord monster hats. Okay, makes perfect sense. Makes perfect sense from the evil overlord monster point of view. And the weird thing is, to us, we hear these things, and to some people, it's too much to comprehend. It's daily business for these people. It's daily life. It's right. The impact that these things have on you isn't even a factor in the culture of these people. You understand?
Yeah.
You've got to understand that when we're talking about legacy baby abuse, right, and evil frequencies and mind control, okay? Do you have any idea just how important the results that these people are succeeding, how important their mission is to them? Money, the power, the control, all of it. When you are hiding financial records that go across 9/11 in the Epstein files, but releasing baby jerky, right? We know where their loyalties lie.
Yeah.
It's not to us. We obviously know it's not to us. It's not to our children. It's to money and power.
That's correct.
Because to the average monster, money and power is the only thing that will bring them close to these bloodlines.
Yeah, because it's within this world. It's within within your own lifetime on this world.
Randy, you're a freaking. You and I should be really good friends, Randy. Like I really feel like we need to go out for tacos and just talk more about this.
I love tacos.
Listen, that's how you know if you're part of the crew or not. Do you know what I'm saying? The taco test. You know what I'm saying? Because I did not think this conversation was going to go this way. Can we talk about your book quickly before we run out of time? Because we don't even mention that.
So the book is it's going to talk about the basic principles of how SRA is made and some modern ways. It's even in the modern church, the Christian church. Some things that are in tactics that are in that, and everything is like this. The Bible's clear. We want to focus in on the true Lord God and Father. The enemy wants us just to go slightly like that, 1 degree off, and if he can get you like that, just to look slightly off, he's got you looking away.
See, do you know what's interesting, right?
Yeah.
Now, I'm not trying to be rude here. Someone told me today that every time someone says that, they're about to say something rude.
You're
Do you? I think, and this is important, right? Do you feel like the connection with you is to Jesus, or is it to the church?
Oh no, my 100% connection is with Jesus.
Yeah,
Not any institution,
yeah.
not any religion.
It's interesting, right? Because I know more Christians that feel like that than any other religion that I've got friends that are within. You know, I've got Muslim friends, they go mosque. I've got Jewish friends, they go temple, right? I don't know any Christians that go to church. And it's very interesting because the institution, I genuinely think and I don't mean the tiny little pastures, like the one guy who's like running his little church for his little town and his heart's in the good place. I'm not talking about them. Okay. I'm not talking about them. Yeah. I'm talking about the institution that has become have you ever seen, Randy? I only found out about the super mega churches like last year, right? Bro, that's what I'm talking about, right?
No question about it. No, you're onto something that's very correct.
It's bonkers. And I have a funny feeling that if your Lord and Savior was to come, when he comes back one day, right, he's going to be mad, right? And the problem is, he's not really one for being mad, right? Like, he does want to love everyone into being better people, okay? And he will. You'll get 90% of his job will be accomplished, right? But the evil is the problem, Randy, right? Because
right, of course, that's what we have to overcome. That's what we have to overcome.
100%. And do you feel like we're going to get to a point, right, where we can fully be free of this, right? Because it's a tough question, and feel free to say yes, meteor strike, act of God, erasing mankind and starting again, if that's your genuine answer. Because evil, I think, has existed longer than our concept of good and bad in the modern world.
I don't think it's ever going to go away until you leave your body, you jump out of your body, and your life is over. You're going to battle it until you die. So
it's a husk problem. It's a husk problem, right? It's a physical world problem, right?
Yeah, seed of sin. Go back to that. You're born with the seed of sin. Everybody is.
But here's the thing. And I can't actually believe I'm going to say this. Right? Because Jesus dying on the cross.
Right.
That was the day, I can't believe I'm about to say this, that we all ended up with Jesus inside us.
No.
I think it is.
You have to decide.
No, I don't think we can.
Okay.
I think history. I think there's some weird stuff that I'm going to be talking about over the next couple of weeks. I'm getting there with it, right?
Okay, nice.
Because here's the thing.
He came. Yes, he conquered, sin, death, and hell by dying on the cross and, proving to all mankind. But we still have our own free will intact.
Oh no, it's got nothing to do with free will. Okay, do you remember the loopholes of free will we talk about?
Yeah,
and we always focus about on the evil, right?
Right.
I think there's a mad discussion in my future about the day that Jesus found the loophole, okay, to battle against this seed. And none of us that aren't part of that faith are going to like this, but it's tough titties, okay? Because the amount of times I hear Jesus is inside us all. He's inside of you. He's inside of you. And it's constant, okay? When we talk about the history of these people,
right,
and the realities, I think I'm getting there with my theory on this.
Yeah,
but I don't think there's any escaping, and I think that's why, regardless of the demonic, his name has such a powerful presence when dealing with the supernatural side of evil, shall we say.
It is. It does.
And we can't deny that. I'm just saying. Okay, we can't deny that. Does that mean that I follow? No. Does it mean I believe? Yes. Does it believe that as a chaos magic user, I can dip into religions and deities? Yes, it does. And it's fascinating, right? When did you know that on the and forgive me for my terminology, but the big cloth,
the Shroud of Turin.
Thank you. Right. So the shroud, right? In the Passion of the Christ, they depicted the whipping of Jesus, right?
Right.
A tad savage, might I add. And did you know that he lost an eye?
Jesus?
Yeah.
Like he was on the cross and doing
like we're talking like on the build up to being like during the whipping, apparently it's on the shroud.
Oh yeah, I don't his body.
Yeah, it was smashed to pieces, right?
Yeah, his body was like basically unrecognizable.
Oh yeah, it was not a good time. Okay.
Right. No, yeah.
I have a very bizarre relationship with one-eyed gods, Randy. That's all I'm going to say, right? And I use certain things as markers on my journey, and one-eyed men is one of them. And it was fascinating because it was backed up with a shroud, okay? And they counted the lines as well, and that's how they got to how many times he'd been lashed. It was fascinating. And just stay tuned, right? And again, don't anyone be thinking I'm joining that side. I am always going to be in favor of all the gods. Some I've met, some I've not. But it's incredible when you start opening up to other people's views, other people's gods, other people's everything.
Mm-hmm.
And little pieces start repeating throughout Christianity, throughout the Norse tales, throughout Egyptology, throughout all of history. And we often speak about how it's just history repeating. And little sayings like this, okay?
Yeah.
Fascinate me, Randy. Right? Yeah. It fascinates me. And the history of the gods and the right time for the right god, all of these things fascinate me. And I'm okay with Christmas and Easter. Like, I'm not part of your team, but if I had to pick a god for my country and my people, I would be completely fine with your god. No problem.
Well, if you think about every holiday, okay, and I go back to the relationship, not the institution of course. A church. Christmas is not a Christian holiday.
It's not. No, I know. It's Yule.
It's winter. Yeah, winter solstice.
Yep. And you know, you bring a tree inside because we were all mad back then. And we're like, if we keep the tree inside, then all the trees will bloom again. Okay.
Yeah.
It's one of them. But it doesn't matter. Here's the thing. People start arguing, right? Oh no, it was mistaken. It was this, it was that. It's okay, guys. It's just more division. Don't worry about it. And that's, do you know how important it is to just stop arguing with each other?
Oh yeah, there's no need to just. I'm not going to argue with anybody. It's
no,
okay.
I don't.
No, you're right. You're right. It's absolutely correct.
We need to get to a place where we can live in a society with individuals who don't see eye to eye with us, and us all to be able to get along. I don't mean barbaric ideologies that arrive here on boats from France. Okay, I mean civilized societies.
Well, I'm not sure that's going to happen here on this earth, but
I think something's coming, Randy, that too many people romanticize. I think prophecies and biblical everything is coming to a head, and you can insert whatever you want. If you're a science and a warmonger, call it World War III. If you're an astrophysicist, call it mega freaking asteroid. Okay,
we're that far from World War III. I mean, we're so close.
But here's the thing: are we, or is the world just a total illusion where they're just like, just kill a bunch of people?
Probably both.
We need to distract from the Epstein files, and no one's buying that we're going to invade Greenland. Do you know what I'm saying?
That's true too. Yeah, I think all those theories are true. You know, I think the media and the powers that be want to divert our attention, and so they will broadcast what they want to us to divert to without looking behind the scenes and what's really going on.
Bro, you mean distraction?
Yeah.
Look, 100. Listen, Ghetto Cat. If I was capable of letting Randy speak, I would be letting Randy speak by now. Clearly, Ron has got an illness. Okay, it's like kicking an alcoholic down when they relapse at this stage. We're all well aware of my ADHD. I'm trying. Okay, but the problem is I don't interrupt people on purpose. It's everything. It's like you're unlocking little things.
You're fine. You're fine, Ron.
Thank you, Randy.
You're 100% fine. You're okay.
Yeah, exactly.
And
so,
so I work with these people, okay, that not only are born into these families, okay, but they can be genetically assigned to where, the brain's been divided, so, and they can be put back together. And we talk about the world as being in such a mess and diverted and all this. The Bible is very clear. The God of this world, planet Earth, okay, just planet Earth, he is in charge of, he's the God of this world, meaning to say he does not own it, but he owns the systems, the money, the business, the power, the fame, all of these types of things. And this is why it's so popular and desired by a human being here on this planet to be rich, to be famous, to be popular, to have all these things. Because
it's because worship creates the deities, and the fame and the clout and the money are the new forms of worship, right?
Every human being, okay, now this is my opinion, and I don't want anybody to get offended or anything like this, but every human being worships one or two. They either worship the true Lord God and Father, or they don't.
I mean,
it's like that.
I mean, I beg to differ, but that's okay.
That's fine. That's fine.
Everyone on this show, you've got 50% of the people on this show in agreement with you,
okay.
which isn't bad, right?
That's fine. That's okay. But
that's okay.
The God of this world, Baal, I'm going to say Baal. You heard of the Tower of Babel?
I mean, I've heard of it, right? I'm not too queued up. Ironically, I have most of the things that you've brought up as open tabs for literally going through after the show.
Well, okay, so Nimrod, he built the Tower of Babel.
Okay,
and it means to where the gateway to where Baal, B-A-L, will be revealed to the world.
Is that why people refer to idiots as a Nimrod? Like that's a saying over here. Like, you Nimrod. Like, so he must have done something really dumb, right? He must have done something real dumb.
He worshipped the God of this world. Yeah, I know there's different sayings for, you're right.
Are you saying the God of this world?
The God of planet Earth.
Is called Baal.
Baal. Yeah,
he's not a cool guy, man. Like, no, Baal is not a cool guy.
No.
We're not on. You and I can agree. Okay, we don't like him. Okay, yeah,
right. And it all starts with that because he's a fallen angel. And the interesting thing, Baal, B-A-L, is the antithesis to Abba, Father. Abba, Baal. It's the antithesis. It's the opposite. Jesus is Abba. Okay, Baal is the antithesis to that.
I think that's going to have to be the start of our next conversation, Randy.
That's a little different conversation, but it plays into an SRA survivor.
Oh, for sure.
Because that's the creating the monarch mind control slave, the let's not use those words. That's the goal of creating somebody who doesn't even know what's going on, doesn't even know why this happened to me.
Like,
where am I? What am I doing? Why do I have to experience this? Am I ever going to be free? Where's the hope? Why even bother? And these are just the people, Ron, these are just the people that are the survivors. That's why we call them survivors. We're not talking about the ones who did not survive.
I know.
And there's countless of them.
I'm going to be honest. I'm going to assume the survivors are the massive minority.
Massive minority. There have been people that have been purposely.
They're legacy trophies, right? To a lot of these people, as they get referred to.
Right. They've purposely been eliminated for these purposes. You know, and I'm trying to use nice.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
On purpose, removed to, increase the power and the fame of the individuals that are performing these.
Do you often find yourself in moments of quiet going round in your head trying to figure out, and again, I'm going to use your terminology for you, but your creator's unspoken rules for the universe? Like, it's a simple task, the hidden secrets, and it's not so much the hidden secrets that I'm obsessed with, it's the laws. Okay, and the only one that I've figured out is the one where we all have free will. Like, that is the top dollar. That is the number one rule of all existence, is this free will madness, right?
The rules of engagement.
Yeah, it's weird though, right? Because
you're right. I am always seeking out scripture to try to find more knowledge. More knowledge and more information on how to help a survivor.
Oh yeah,
I do. I constantly.
I'm I'm trying to figure out how to transcend into the room of the evildoers to then use mind bullets to destroy them. That's what I'm trying to do right now.
Yeah.
So, do you remember when you held up that diagram and I asked you about the symbol up at the top? It was like the cross with the hoop on the top of it. Like, do you know what that symbol is? Because it's been popping up all over my life for about 6 weeks now.
Okay. If you look at that symbol.
Yeah, the one there. It's like the cross with the hoop.
Okay. If you look at that symbol.
Yeah.
It looks like this.
Okay.
Okay. Those are inverted pyramids.
Okay.
Okay. That is also, if you look at Israel.
Yep.
That's also on their flag.
Are we talking about the same thing?
Yes, we are. No, we're talking about the same thing.
Does it have a name, that symbol?
That symbol basically is you got the pyramid pointing up, you got the pyramid pointing down. That goes back to the scripture I used from Genesis 1:16. One rules by day, one rules by night.
Hang on a second. It's this one here. It's called the anchor. Okay, it's an Egyptian thing. This one here. I'm just going to bring up the first image of it.
Yeah.
I've got here. This one.
Oh, look at that little cross. Yeah, right.
This just keeps popping up, bro. Yeah. Right?
And you're right. It definitely goes back to ancient Egypt and Babylon.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. It was that. And because it's frustrating, it's annoying me because, like, you've held up a piece of paper with a symbol on it tonight, and I call these universal markers, Randy, right? You know, when like you're constantly seeing the same thing, or like you're walking past the same person every day, and then suddenly you realize something that connects to that experience that makes a bigger picture come into fruition, right?
Right.
This is one of those things, bro. So I just wondered if you knew, and if anyone had anything about it. Again, I'm really good at derailing my own conversation, Randy. Like, people,
no, that's great, because this is the ancient formula. It's nothing. It's nothing new. Nothing's new under the sun. it still happens today. The same formula on this picture that I showed you is still used today. Might be a different technology, okay, with modern ways of doing things, but it's still the same formula. It's still the same end goal.
Yeah.
And it's interesting that when I talk to people, sometimes they'll have an image pop up in their head. Wow, I see a pyramid. Or they'll have this ancient voice come up, and say something from 3,000 years ago. That'll have some of this information on it. Well, that's why, it's in the imprint, it's in that genetic code. Yeah, it's okay.
Yep. Another.
There's a lot of people today that this is a very bold statement. It's not going to go over so good, but there's a lot of people today that think they are a born again believer.
Okay.
But they're not. Okay. I'm just going to hit this real quickly.
Okay. Yeah, do it.
When the mind gets split, it goes off into here, and over here we have the wheat and the tares. Okay. You think you're a wheat. Okay. You think you're a wheat, which means you think you're a good person. You think you follow the Lord and all this, but you're a tare, because the tares are eating the wheat, because the wheat is dying. And this is where you get the psychic vampires from. This is when they're able to be a psychic vampire, when they can astral travel. They don't even know they're doing it. I tapped on something. We can just kind of leave that on the shelf.
Oh, no. Listen, you're talking my language, Randy.
Okay.
More than you even know. Okay.
And that
I'm going to mix that up for a second, right? So we know trauma and evil is something that
exists.
Yeah, no, that's not what I'm trying to say. It's we've all heard of it, right? But the most underrepresented side in this battle is the other side of the coin, which has to exist, Randy, right? There has to be the opposite of an SRA, MK Ultra mind control individual.
Right. 100%.
So with that in mind, okay, do you think that we're going to see more and more people activated through a sort of DNA to the calling, the awakening, to the great reset that seems to be occurring? Because I'm telling you this, Randy, I'm a normal guy, okay? And there's things that I can do that I shouldn't be able to do. Okay?
I know you can. I know. I'm aware of that.
And don't get me wrong, I am very much on the side of the good guys. You know what I'm saying? And I often wonder how many people are out there that have been programmed for the other team.
Millions and millions and millions and millions.
I think so too.
Millions. And that's what 100% agree with that. I think the majority of our population, doesn't matter what country you're from, doesn't matter at all. It's all the same now.
Mm-hmm.
The majority of the population is this way now. And that's the thing they don't even realize.
Right. Do you think, right, when we look at the twofold here, let's take the biblical side of it. And I mean the hardcore biblical side, not the I can see through the bullshit biblical side, right? The hardcore that side. And then let's apply the Bigfoot effect as well. Okay. Do you think that there's people who are so terrified of the wrath of God, right, to come forward and say, oh, I thought of something, then it happened, or I feel like I left my body when I was dreaming. My bloodline was almost wiped out in Ireland for witchcraft throughout the centuries. Do you think we are so terrified to come forward and say, I think I can do this?
I think people are, there's a lot of shame. There's a lot of guilt.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of, what are people going to think? You know, maybe I'm not, all these thoughts and all this stuff that pops up in my head, maybe they're not going to think I'm so normal. They're going to think I'm just out there. You're going to think I'm
right. It's the Bigfoot effect. Do you know what I'm saying? Like when those guys seen the Bigfoot all those years ago, and they were like, I can't tell anyone, they're going to think I'm crazy.
You're going to think I'm crazy, right? But the truth of the matter is the opposite, because that's what the enemy wants you to think.
Right. That's exactly it.
He wants you to think you're crazy, but you're not. You're created in the image. Okay, you're created in the image of God. He created you. He predestined you.
For argument's sake, let's go with that for this analogy, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, it's whatever analogy here, right? But do you think the conditioning has taken these things from us? Should we be able to? Because to me, my gifts do not feel special. They feel like blinking, Randy. Right? They feel like as simple as blinking. And do you think that we should all be able to do that? Should it just be as simple as blinking? Because it's interesting. If we're all meant to be able to read each other's minds and tap into each other and prolong our lives, it seems to fall in line with everything we get sold back to us. You get sold a phone so you can talk because, you know, can't have to use your brain. Right. You know, you get sold medicine that does some things for some people and not for others to keep you alive. Do you think we have seen lost knowledge stripped from us and replaced with profits?
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, you're correct. No, that's a correct statement, because, you know, all the media, everything that's pushed on everybody, it's all about, you know, profit, fame, and fortune and all that. And, you know, they just want you to buy their product. And the result of buying and getting into their mind belief sometimes is taking you off, you know, the path that we should be on. And Ron, it takes effort. See, it takes a lot of effort on our behalf to follow the Bible. It takes a lot of discipline, a lot of effort. No one's perfect. Nobody walks on water. None of us do. I certainly don't. Tell you that right now. You know, but did you see a lot of effort to overcome this in a survivor's life? A very determined individual.
100%. There's a reason they call it pushing through, right? And breaking through, right? I mean, it's so true. I need to ask you a question. Did you ever see the photograph of when they split the quantum photon last year, at the end of last year? In science,
no.
Yappa, yappa, crazy science thing, tiny atom, science cut it in half, right? Now I'm going to show you it, right?
Okay.
When you see this, I want you to have the same question I did, right? I want you to ask, what crazy Chinese freaking son of a gun came up with the yin yang symbol? Okay. We need to find this out, because I shit you not, this is the inside of a quantum atom. Okay. The smallest, most tiniest thing in the whole freaking quantum universe that we've cut open.
There you go.
No. Some Chinese dude drew that, okay? And it's been kept from throughout, and we've all seen it. We all know what the yin yang is, right? What the freaking what? That is bonkers. It's completely insane. If that makes sense to me, Randy, if that was a McDonald's symbol, we'd all be talking about it. Okay.
Okay. I've never seen this picture before, ever.
No. Okay.
Look at the screen and look at the picture on the right. You got a dot like this that's 90% black, and it's about 10% light.
Yep.
And the opposite is on the other side.
Yep.
Okay. I want to explain that to you. It's exactly what I've been talking about. Okay.
Please. Oh no, I'm not. This isn't like a religious thing. I'm just nerding out with Randy right now. But explain to us, Randy, please.
The hemisphere has been split. Okay, so one rules by day and one rules by night. So you got the majority of that black is going to rule by night.
Oh yeah.
And the other side is the light, and that's going to rule by day. So you've got your brain. So 10% is our presenting conscience.
Yep.
Okay, that's that little white light in that big black thing on the right-hand side.
I'm with you.
And the opposite is true on the left-hand dot.
It's bananas.
Yeah, that's exactly what and that yin yang is split the hemispheres.
It's bananas.
I love this picture, man. Can you email us to me? I'd love
it. It's quantum yin yang shows the two photons that are entangled in real time.
This is great. I love that.
It's what, yeah, but I want to speak to that Chinese guy, right? So now, Randy, if anyone says to you, if you can go back in time and meet anyone, you now say the Chinese guy that made the yin yang. And when they ask you why, you can say, well, look at this, okay? Because he had some profound level of, he was on a spectrum we don't even know, okay, to come up with that.
Yeah.
Okay. And
scientific proof.
If there was ever anything that makes me think that a higher force is taking the absolute mickey out of us, okay, it's finding a symbol like this inside of photons that I can remember being like 8 years old and on holiday in Portugal with my mum and buying a yin yang necklace that is the most cliche on a black piece of cord. Do you know what I'm saying? Like proper cliche stuff. We all know this symbol.
Right. Yeah, it's martial arts symbol.
Anything. I mean, martial arts symbol, freaking peace symbol, whatever you want to call it.
Right.
It just, some people it represents balance. Some people, I'm sure it has a different meaning for. Symbols change meaning all the time. A bunch of Buddhists, I'm sure, have got a bunch of stuff that the Nazis ruined, okay, with their symbol. Do you know what I'm saying? Which previously was a good luck thing. Do you know what I'm saying? Water rebranding. I mean, nightmare scenario. So that fascinates me.
That's great. I appreciate you showing me that. That's really great. And
it's wild.
Thank you, Ron. I appreciate our time here, you know.
Randy, I've appreciated our time. We need to set this up again because we need to pick up on Baal and delve into the next chapter of the depth of all of this, because I don't feel like you've even gotten started yet, Randy.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like you've not even gotten started yet. And all your links are in the description. Your book is there. Your work, you're clearly beyond passionate about your work and the survivors, right? I mean, that is, and your search for answers and your understanding of, I mean, let's be honest, it's a very modern mindset for a Christian to be having. We'll go back 1,000 years, you would have been burnt with me for some of the things.
Probably. Yeah, you're right. You're probably right.
What I'm saying? And it fascinates me that I've spoken to so many different people from so many different paths, and the only thing that differs is the conversation on the path up to the same destination. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Keeping children safe, keeping survivors safe, the world. I think as long as we're all on the one journey to defeat evil, who gives a rat's ass about anything else until the mission's done? Then we can all get back to arguing and whatever you want, right? But once evil's dealt with, okay, we can. It's really, it's the only time where I really feel like we all need to be grown-ups is when we're talking about this subject. Everything else doesn't really matter. I mean, I'll be honest with you. It really, in the grand scheme of children's safety and evil, there's a lot. I mean, it's hard to find anything else. I just wanted to make camping videos, Randy, and here we are today. It's a very different journey. So
it's a very complicated topic. Very complicated topic.
Oh yeah, it's a complicated topic when you don't have the religious argument part of it. Do you see what I'm saying?
Right.
It's wild. But look, Randy, I can't wait to talk to you again.
Me
I
too.
wish nothing but the best. Thank you so much for giving up your time. I wish you and everyone that you work with just the most happiest and most wonderful year. And we'll speak to you very soon. We'll keep it very.
I'll promote this too.
Well, look, I have got a live stream after this over on my channel. I can't find it. I can't find the link. Oh, I have found the link. I'll post the link just now. I'm going to be delving into all kinds of things that I would have been burnt at the stake for many years ago. But we'll be delving into it because we all need to find answers, and sometimes I'm trying to filibuster, Randy, while I find the bloody link, just in case you're wondering why I'm waffling so much nonsense. This is called filibustering while the host tries to find the link. There we are. The link has been. So I should have started that. I think I should have started that 45 minutes ago. All right. So if you're waiting over there, that's way more important. So I'll see you guys over there. Randy, thank you so much. The link is in the description. I'll see you over there in about 10 minutes. Randy, this is the start of many conversations, and thank you for your time, brother. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Ron. Have a great night.
Thank you. Good night, everyone. Thank you.